Good morning. Oh, good. I was just going to say I could listen to Jerry Granelli all day. Good morning and welcome. Let us begin our time together in song with Come, Come, Whoever You Are, words attributed to Muslim theologian, scholar, and Sufi mystic Jalal ad-Din Maulana Rumi, set to music by Lynn Adair Unger. Please make sure your microphone is muted and sing along energetically to invite all into this new day we've received. Good morning and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Gwinnett. My name is Jan Taddeo. My pronouns are she and her, and it is my great pleasure and a privilege to serve our faith as a minister of this congregation. I'm so glad we can all be together this morning in any way possible. Just a little bit about some circumstances this morning. I did have surgery on my rotator cuff this past week. I've taken a minimal amount of painkiller this morning, but it's still, I can feel its effects just enough. I am grateful that Bill Benshoff and Lydia Patrick have offered to do reflections today to make my Sunday preparation a little easier. Daniel had also wanted to offer a reflection today, but he has been having some very serious health issues. Please hold him in your prayers. And Erica Shelcastro also wanted to offer a reflection this morning, and she had cataract surgery this week and was unable to do that. So just really grateful to everyone who's holding people in this congregation with so much love and care. It's been a lot. And now if you have a chalice, please have it ready for when we get together in a moment to light our chalice in a few minutes. In the meantime, this service is going to be reflections and readings. So I invite you to listen for what speaks to you this morning on our theme for this month, Living with Paradox and Ambiguity. So as we share words and music and all of that, please look for what speaks to you. And think about what you might say if you were asked to offer a reflection on this topic. We arrive from many places and many life experiences as we gather to recall our true selves, reflect on the meaning of our lives, and explore questions of ultimacy together. We are people who are new to Unitarian Universalism and people who are lifelong Unitarian Universalists. We are people of many religious beliefs and spiritual practices. We affirm and promote the responsible search for truth and meaning. We are people of many genders, sexualities, ethnicities, origins, ages, shapes, sizes, and expressions of our true selves. We affirm and promote the inherent worth and dignity of all people. We are people of all ages and family structures, and we each bring gifts, talents, and passions that serve to affirm and promote communities with peace, liberty, and justice for all. We are people of covenant who engage with one another in ways that promote and affirm justice, equity, and compassion in human relations. We are people who care deeply for our planet and understand we are inextricably and profoundly connected with the web of all existence. We are people who welcome all who are seeking a community of faith that welcomes your whole self, all that you were, all that you are, all that you yearn to be. And you are just where you should be, in a room full of compassionate, thoughtful Unitarian Universalists, ready to meet you where you are. You are welcome here. You are home. If you are a newcomer this morning, we welcome you and hope you will indeed find your spiritual home here with us. We are becoming a radically welcoming sanctuary in a green space. We foster spiritual growth as we joyfully nurture connections and community within our walls and beyond. If this is your first time here, I encourage you to join us several times to experience the full flavor of this congregation and this faith tradition. Come be curious, courageous, and compassionate with us. And now I invite you to take a deep, deep breath with me. And we'll do that again. And as you breathe in, just bring every molecule of your being into this precious time we've set aside to be together this week. And as sound vibrates through us and around us, let it remind us that we are deeply, profoundly, inextricably interconnected with one another, with all beings on this planet, with all life, with all the stars in the cosmos. We are one, a holy oneness. Our opening words and chalice lighting come from Reverend Kate Walker, called In Between. In between, liminal, that space where we wait, between moments, events, results, action, no action. To stand on the threshold, waiting for something to end and something new to arrive. A pause in the rumble of time. Awareness claims us. Alert, a shadow of something different. In between invitation and acceptance. In between symptom and gnosis. In between send and receipt of inquiry and question. In between love given and love received. Liminality, a letting go, entering into confusion, ambiguity, and disorientation. A ritual begun. Pause. Look back at what once was. Look forward into what becomes. Identity sheds a layer, reaches into something uncomfortable to wear. In between lighting the match and the kindling of oil. In between choosing of text and the reading of words. In between voices and notes carried through the air into ears to hear. In between creation thrusts ever forward. Social hierarchies may disassemble and structures may fall. Communities may revolt or tempt trust. Tradition may falter or creativity crashes forward. Leaders may step down or take charge. The people may choose or refuse. In between, storm predicted, the horizon beacons. In between, theology of process reminds us to step back. In between, where minutiae and galaxies intermingle with microbes and mysteries. In between, liminal, that space where we wait. Look, listen, feel, breathe. And now it's time to open our Wonder Box. I wonder what's in our Wonder Box. Let's see, what's in here? Oh, look, it's a crumpled up piece of paper. I think, let's see, it looks like it's kind of got a road on it. It starts at something called it says pay toll. I didn't bring any change with me for the toll booth. It says the Phantom Toll Booth, based on the Phantom Toll Booth from Norton Juster. I've got a secret map. It has places on it like foothills of confusion and expectations and beyond expectations and doldrums and the sea of, well, we better see what this is about. I think I might have that story around here somewhere. Oh, look, yes, it's right here in my book. What a coincidence. The Oracle of Paradox, adapted from the Phantom Toll Booth by Norton Juster. Well, the truth was Milo was tired. Not tired at the end of the day, but tired of a journey that he had been on for a long time. Actually, he could not even remember when it began, when he first drove his small electric car through the Phantom Toll Booth. The toll booth had magically appeared in his bedroom one day in a large box. While he had assembled it, the instructions were clear. Looking at the map that came in the box, a map that was not familiar to him at all, he decided that he would play along and travel to Dictionopolis because he was so bored. Milo thought that a little excitement would do him good. Then, with no idea of what was really going to happen, he drove his electric car up to the toll booth, deposited the coins, and started driving. And then everything changed. What had been pretend was now real. A real highway with flowers and tall trees on both sides. He looked back over his shoulder, and he couldn't see the toll booth, his bedroom, or even his house. They were gone. So, driving onward, he came to a sign that said, "Welcome to expectations." The man he met there told him that everyone had to go through expectations before they could get beyond expectations. Milo thought it made sense in a weird sort of way and decided to keep driving. He came next to a place called the Doldrums, a place where nothing ever happens and nothing ever changes. Boring, thought Milo. But that is where he met the watchdog, Talk, who became his faithful traveling companion. Being a watchdog, Talk had a large watch on his side that went tick, tick, tick. Together they made their way to Dictionopolis, which was located between the foothills of confusion and the sea of knowledge. Aha, I remember seeing those on the map. Of course, things did not go well. Milo and Talk both ended up in prison because of a slight accident in the word market. The charges, although unfair, were extensive, and Milo and Talk were sentenced to 6 million years in prison. That is where they met Faintly Macabre, who was a witch. That's W-H-I-C-H, not a witch, W-I-T-C-H. She had been responsible for choosing which words were to be spoken by people, but she became greedy and offered fewer and fewer words until nobody was speaking. That was when she was put in prison. Milo promised to help her escape after he was released, but Faintly Macabre said that the only thing that could help her was the return of the two princesses, Rhyme and Reason, as the rulers of the land. Eventually, Milo and Talk were released, along with their new companion, Humbug. They traveled to the castle in the air and rescued Rhyme and Reason. They again began ruling the kingdom of wisdom. Now, Milo just wanted to go home to his very own bedroom, but his home was not on his map. While the princesses did not know the way home, They were sure that Milo could find it by asking the Oracle of Paradox, who lived in the north tower of the castle in the air. Milo hurried there and asked the Oracle, "Which way is home?" The Oracle, whose real name was Peter Paradox, answered with one riddle after another, but none of them made any sense. The Oracle finally said, "Your home is where your heart is. Close your eyes and find the answer." That explains the heart in the middle of that map. Milo did as he was told. Everything got very quiet, and Milo slowly found his heart. When he opened his eyes, he was back in his bedroom. On his bed was a blue envelope that read, "For Milo, who now knows the way." And Milo realized that he did. Now let's sing together, "Where Do We Come From?" with words from Paul Gauguin, put to music by Brian Tate.
My name is Bill Benshoff, and my pronouns are he and him, and my reflection is about new priorities. And I wanted to say that yesterday, in honor of our monthly theme of ambiguity and uncertainty, I held an in-person Mad Hatter's Tea Party and invited our corgi mix, Courtney, to attend. She politely declined, favoring attention from the mistress, so I followed the advice of a mentor, focused on my spiritual practices, and created an imaginary friend named Buck, who gladly accepted my invitation. To go with our imaginary pitcher of dream juice, Buck and I poured imaginary salt into our palms and ate it. Then we had a Caption the Last Year contest. I'm not sharing Buck's entries. My entries were the year that I did not total a car driving to work, and Switzerland went to Japan to beat Latvia at Olympic beach volleyball without an in-person audience, which the Swiss thought was just fine, but the Latvians didn't like very much. And the silence was so deafening the whole year, the dragon and I, this is the trans dragon and I had some long conversations. Now that I've created some ambiguity about my sanity and some uncertainty about my priorities, let's cut right to the core of the blow pop, eat the chewing gum, and blow some bubbles. Since even going to the grocery store takes courage these days, I think Buck would agree that courage should be one of our new priorities. There's a new song out. Well, released in this last decade anyway, which makes it new to this old straight cisgender white man from Suburbiaville, that talks about being brave. American singer-songwriter Sarah Bareilles, inspired from the struggles that a close friend dealt with in regard to coming out as gay, released Brave as the lead single on her fourth studio album, The Blessed Unrest. And you guessed it, I'm going to be reading you some of the lyrics. You can be amazing. You can turn a phrase into a weapon or a drug. You can be the outcast or the backlash of somebody's lack of love. Or you can start speaking up. Nothing's going to hurt you the way that words do when they settle beneath your skin. Kept on the inside and no sunlight, sometimes a shadow wins. But I wonder what would happen if you say what you want to say. Let the words fall out honestly. I want to see you be brave. Everyone's been there. Everyone's been stared down by the enemy, fallen for the fear, and done some disappearing. Bow down to the mighty. But don't run. Stop holding your tongue. Maybe there's a way out of that cage where you live. Maybe one of these days you can let the light in. Show me how big your brave is. Innocence, your history of silence, won't do you any good. Did you think it would? Let your words be anything but empty. Why don't you tell them the truth? Here are some words from a song that's a bit younger by the Accidentals from their song Stitches and Seams. Sometimes it's so bright that it burns up the dark, the state of the world and the state of your heart. You fight your whole life, yet it tears you apart. But wildfires are born from the tiniest spark. If I can't speak my mind, then what can I leave behind? One fingerprint cannot survive in the dust. The strongest inventions will all turn to rust. The wisest intentions can't live without trust. If life is a story, what's out there waiting for us? Obviously, I'm speaking my mind. So where are these folks who just need to start speaking up? Or maybe I just need to listen up. I think I need to listen, humbly and perhaps with some discomfort, to the lived reality of those who do not identify with society's labels of privileged and normal. Perhaps my vision for the future will lead me to take 3 steps back and give the rest of the world a chance to lead. And most importantly, I want to open and hold sacred space into which we can all speak from our hearts about our stories, including our faith journeys, because they are at the heart of our faith development program, in which the congregation is the curriculum. While I'm waiting for things to be okay, I will consider some Beatitudes written by Lindy Ramsden, which I think are great for our brave new world. Blessed are you who play as well as you work. You will have more fun, build more energy, and will draw the powers of the impish to your cause. Blessed are you who ask for help in your role as leaders. You will find teachers at every turn, and your work will remain interesting and alive. Blessed are you who offer thanks and praise 5-fold for every critique. Your children will want to visit after they are grown. People will want to serve on your committees, and friends will be interested in your opinions. Blessed are you who can change your mind. Blessed am I who can change my mind. You are still alive.
I offer this reading an adventure into the liminal, edging the gaps at Eby's Bluff by Gina Marie Mamano, inspired by the writings of Annie Dillard. Funny how the Eby's Bluff Trail starts at a cemetery, its headstones bellowing out lost names in cement brocade. It feels like beginning at the end, but somehow that seems appropriate for Annie Dillard's words scribbled in my hand. Are the spirits one home? Because I find so many gaps here. The moment between life and death, the passage between life and afterlife, the twinkling of an eye between here and there. To those of us who wrestle or toy with or wholeheartedly embrace thoughts of heaven or the next life, the space gaps in the graveyard almost seem like hiccups in time, holes dug out where the seed was placed, the hull that once surrounded personal essence, now coddled with dirt and sod, hoping the invisible sprout will journey on. The gaps are the thing. Gaps temporarily filled, gaps gaping with open mouths, open jaws, open arms, gaps anticipating the next human seed. It seems like a sobering place to start a journey, and it is, but not completely. Walking in a landscape of my own intentional silence, the interiors are bubbling and in constant motion. The valley below the bluff is checkered with farm fields in colors of amber and emerald. There is a joy to all of this, both the bubbling thoughts and the silence of the serene scene. And there is a gap even here between this time out of time opportunity on a small trail near Route 525 and the town of Coopville, which leads me back to everyday life, that philosophical gap between hiking trails and highways. Moving along the edges of this bluff, I continue to notice gaps everywhere. In the space between the rustic logs of a historic blockhouse, in the charred fireplace flue of an old cabin, and in the underhousing crawl space there that's teeming with mystery, filled with invisible stories. Spaces, spaces everywhere, and more than a drop to think. Gaps aplenty, gaps in the human-built world, gaps in the natural world. I ask myself, how are they a home? How are the gaps home? I look up. The sky above me with all of its cloudy, etheric shapes is a gap between Earth and outer galaxy, between myself and the water's edge, bleeding with eye-blinding light up ahead of me, lies a gap between here and there, and I find that as I breathe, in-breath, out-breath, there is a gap poised between the drafts of air coming in and the carbon dioxide going out. At the very top of the breath, a stopping point, neither inhale nor release. Is that the spirit's home? And why does spirit want to live there?
I want to start my reflection with a quick flashback to when I realized that my new normal was upside down. March 2020. Bob is home for spring break. Wait, he is home for the rest of the school year as the new shelter-in-place mandate goes full-time. That means Placid, our displaced student, is home with us also for the remainder of the school year. We're scheduled to have work done in the house. Yes, that will still happen, but we will all be in masks. When they are working upstairs, we will be downstairs. When they are in the kitchen, we will be in the sunroom. No one comes into the house if they are sick or have any symptoms. The pool is now closed, which means no swimming for me. I can still walk in the neighborhood, and I put on an extra mask and one in my fanny pouch so that if I pass anyone while I'm out walking, I can put it on as I cross to the other side of the street. I have small spray bottles of alcohol in my purse and in my car. I have hand sanitizer by the door. I start wearing double masks and my Rubbermaid kitchen gloves in Publix. We order more masks, mask inserts, and bleach for washing the masks. Do we have toilet paper? How much toilet paper do we have? Fast forward to August 2021. We've still got things to wait for before everything's okay again. New normal. Be alert. How long? How long till we exhale again and then breathe in without a single afterthought of consequences? My memories are probably not much more different than yours. It's been over 17 months now. And where are we? Gwinnett County just mandated masks again for the 21-22 school year. The Delta variant is more dangerous and the threshold is higher than before. The best protection for every community, experts say, is to continue to vaccinate as many people as possible. USAFacts.org says that roughly 38% of Georgia's population has been vaccinated. I'm not sure what this next year is going to look like. Another new normal will appear at some point. The church is going back to in-person meetings. They've worked really hard to make the necessary changes to ensure safety and accountability. School is staggering its opening day so that students will be starting in shifts. Pool is still open for now, and grocery stores have their normal hours of business. I can't spend all of my time thinking about the what-ifs and the possibilities of more change. Those are still constants. And it is just too much to go to sleep with all of this on my mind and then have to wake up thinking about it again. I've learned about myself and my tolerance for adjustment and my capability for change. I have decided that I am going to create my own new normal for this year. I'm learning that I can't wait around for everything around me to be okay before I start living my life again. Last November, I was in a store checking out, and I noticed that the person at the cash register did not have a mask on. Rather, it was hanging on his chin. And for me, this doesn't count. I should say that this was a particularly difficult period for me for reasons that will become clear in this passage. When he noticed that I did not step up to swipe my card, he said, "Whenever you're ready, just come on up, swipe your card in the square here at the register." "Oh, I'm ready," I said. "I'm just waiting for you to put your mask back on." He responded with, "It's harder for you to hear me with my mask on, and my glasses fog up when I have it pulled up all the way." I responded with, "If you are interested in this purchase, you will put it back on." He responded with, "Do you really think they work? I mean, do you think COVID is all that serious? I mean, really?" "Yes," I said. "I really do think it is all that serious." He said, "I mean, do you know anybody that's had COVID?" I said, "Yes, I do. My sister. And she just died from complications due to COVID." He said, "But was it really COVID that killed her?" I said, "Well, if she didn't get COVID, she would not be dead right now. So I'm going to say, yes, it was COVID that killed her." While I waited, he put his mask on. I finished my transactions, and I left. I would like to think that this conversation with me changed the way that he feels about the pandemic and his attitude and actions towards it. But I imagine he is one of those folks who won't. And that is not on me, ultimately. That is on him. I cannot help those who are willfully ignorant. And that in itself is exhausting to take on. But perhaps if enough of us challenge those folks and speak our truth into their space, it will make a difference. Regardless, I needed to speak my truth right then. And although I have been back to that store since then, I have not seen that person in there yet. Again. Here is what I have decided about waiting for things to be okay. Here is what I won't tolerate and back away from. Here is how I will choose to conform. Waiting for tomorrow. Recently, Bob and I went to the Van Gogh exhibit at the Pullman station downtown and walked through a wall of quotes in one of the rooms. We had a quick discussion about who would claim which quotes for future reflections. I grabbed these two. Great things are not done by impulse, but by a series of small things brought together. And then a few panels further along the wall, success is sometimes the outcome of a string of failures. From these two quotes, I realized some things about myself. First, I don't need to worry so much about great efforts and my need to make a difference, but rather to live my life and allow the everydayness of being, just being, to do its own work. When I breathe in peace. When I breathe out love. That in itself makes a difference. I recently finished listening to the book of Lost Names by Kristin Harmel, which is a story about a forger who risks her own safe passage to Switzerland to help Jewish children escape Nazi-occupied France. She creates false documents and fake names for the children and forges hundreds of passage papers so that they can travel safely. She realizes that with the false names, many of these young children may never know their true identities, their histories, or who they really were. They would be erased. This becomes unacceptable to her. She wants their lives to matter. She wants them to have the tools to find out who they really were. She comes up with a mathematical system of marking their true identities in the pages of a book of Catholic prayers by ticking certain letters on certain pages for each child whose identity she recreates. 60 years later, she returns to France to reclaim the book that survived the war and is now in a library in Paris. She says, "But we aren't defined by the names we carry, or the religions we practice, or the nation whose flag flies over our heads. I know that now. We are defined by who we are in our hearts, who we choose to be on this earth." And then later when her mother says, "You could be captured and tortured and killed for your actions. Aren't you afraid?" "I am terrified," she responds with, "I am too. But the greatest deeds in life require us to rise above our fear." Now, I know that I am not at risk of being captured, tortured, or dying at someone else's hands just by going out for a walk or picking up milk from Publix. But now, right now, for many of us, the fears of this current normal, where so many things have become wrapped up in rage and hopelessness, that can cause such intense feelings of turmoil. It is as if we ourselves are at death's door some days. And honestly, I don't know when things will be normal again, and the new normal might need years to evolve and stay. In the meantime, I find myself just waiting for tomorrow. I can do one more day. That, for me right now, is an attainable goal. I will continue living for one more day, however that one more day unfolds. I will walk in my neighborhood with a good book from Audible in my ear. I will swim. I will go to church and attend choir practice and board meetings. I will teach online. I will buy food at Publix. I will watch shows like Backyard Builds, The Doghouse, Lupin, and Ted Lasso with Bob and Millie while eating dinner on the couch. I will bake. I will write songs. And I will sing. I will kiss my husband and our dog, in that order. I will wear a mask at inside gatherings and keep that alcohol spray bottle loaded in my car and one in my purse. I will follow all CDC guidelines and protocols for community living. I will not give up on myself. I will not hide in fear. I will not stop hoping for better outcomes for myself and others. At the leadership retreat this past weekend, we talked about fear and how sometimes the fear of failure can stop us in our tracks. But if it is in those failures that we learn the most, then, as Lorena, our excellent board president, said at that retreat, we need to fail faster and more often so that we can get up and get to the next step quicker and move closer to our own success. I want to share a poem that Jan shared with us from a book called Spilling the Light by Teresa I. Soto, and I have since purchased a copy of this book for myself. It is called A Simple Hope. Last year, the It toy was some kind of beeping computerized egg. The frenzy and desperation reaching for the perfect gift. Sold out everywhere, this egg. Hope can be kind of like that. People strain and struggle for the perfect definition. Is it now or the future perfect, as in we will have survived? They argue over whether we even need a hope more present than a maybe, even when you don't feel it. A healthy hope is the power, and beyond that, the choosing to stay. A healthy hope is choosing to stay with a doubt and fear. Stay with the work that it takes to resist. Leave giving up for another day. You could wrestle the words or sensation of hope to the mat, or you could let this moment be enough. Belonging here together be sufficient. Feast on our irrepressible power to stay.
I invite you to join me in the spirit of prayer with these words from Reverend Linda Hattie, The Still Place Within. Enter with me that still place within, the center, where we find not only our inmost selves, but also our connection to the farthest reaches of the universe. Here we confront our aspirations and our failings. Though we seek always for our lives to be full of goodness, we sometimes lack courage to right the injustices that confront us. Though we seek always to be generous, sometimes our fears cause us to be greedy. Though we seek always to walk the moral high ground, sometimes we judge others too quickly and too harshly. Though we seek always to understand the larger mysteries, sometimes doubt causes us to lose faith in our purpose. Here in this space, made sacred by our shared lives and our shared yearnings, may we find new courage, new generosity of spirit, forgiveness given and received, and rededication to the higher purposes of our lives. Amen. Music for ambiguity and paradox, and we continue by singing Find a Stillness, Carl Seberg. Our congregation is committed to creating a more compassionate world. To this end, each quarter we split our plate collection with an organization nominated by people in the congregation and selected by our Give Away the Plate committee. Our third quarter plate recipient is Special Needs and Treats, that's KNEADS, a Gwinnett-based nonprofit organization which on the outside is like many others that provides job training and employment to special needs adults. They bake cookies and cakes and other sweet treats, and by doing so develop social skills and confidence. The organization sells to the public, but it also provides baked goods to homeless shelters, food pantries, foster care systems, and other support groups. It also gives free birthday cakes to special needs individuals in Gwinnett County. Our plate contributions also support the shared ministry of this congregation, so I ask that you please give generously to support the work of this important ministry in our wider community, as well as the vision and mission of our congregation. As we listen to our pianist Brian Bishop playing Honey by Nathaniel Dett, you will see on the screen ways to contribute via PayPal, Venmo, or by mailing a check payable to UUCG to the address shown. If you are worshiping with us for the first time, your presence here today with us is a great gift to this congregation. You may choose to let the plate pass. The offering will now be most gratefully received. Lovely. I am looking forward to next Sunday when more people will be in the room with us to enjoy Brian's music firsthand. May the generous gifts we received this week move us towards realizing our vision of a more connected and compassionate world. And we offer gratitude not just to Brian for bringing live music to us this morning, but also to Bill and to Lydia for their reflections on our theme. Very grateful to our board members, lay ministers, and the sabbatical committee for setting aside a weekend for our leadership retreat at the mountain last weekend. And very grateful to their families for supporting their leadership in this congregation. Also grateful to our morning tech team, Christiana McQuain, who served as Zoom manager and reading finder for Gina Marie Mamano's reading to share in the service today. And Russ Taddeo managed video and sound so well. Thank you both so much. And now is the time for our call to connection. Please seek ways to connect between Sundays. And we hope to make that more accessible soon as we are beginning to come together. First, if you're new to our congregation, please sign up for our weekly e-news and our monthly newsletter, and check our website for information about events that are coming up, and there is a place there to register for events as well. If you are new to the congregation or you've been, I'm sorry, I wanted to make sure that you know the reason that I am so strongly encouraging everyone to sign up for our weekly e-news is that starting next Sunday, we will be open for up to 25 guests, 25 people, and registration is required. We'll be reserving space for up to 25 staff, choir, Sunday volunteers, and so forth. But we'll have 25 seats for people coming who are not actively engaged in creating the service. So it's important that you get that link, which I think Christiana is putting up in the chat now. It will be in the e-news and it will be in our Facebook group. We are not publicizing it out into the wider world quite yet, because we want our current folks to be first to come and join us. And we'll be very welcoming to the new folks as soon as we are able. If you are new or you've been coming for some time, I encourage you to sign up for our Starting Point program. It's an introduction to the Unitarian Universalist journey. It's wonderful for folks who are new to this congregation or new to Unitarian Universalism, or if you have been coming for a long time and you just want to get to meet some new folks or have your energy renewed for Unitarian Universalism, fall in love with our congregation all over again, this is a great opportunity. So that registration should be up by Wednesday morning, so please check out the dates, see if that works, and I believe they'll be at 2:30, but I have to 2 o'clock on those Sundays, but I have to confirm the time. Also, if you've missed a service, you can catch them on our YouTube channel, so please take advantage of that. Our Reconvening Survey is still happening. If you filled one out like 2 months ago and a lot's changed, or you're feeling different, you can do another one. But if you're going to say the same things, then don't fill out another one. But there's the link there. I think it's also in our Facebook group, and it's in our e-news, and I believe it's in the newsletter too. If you're looking for ways to be of service, our food collection is September 4th. Thanks to all who contributed last Sunday and for those who delivered last Sunday. We are also collecting clothes for the Corley Elementary kids, and we've delivered a lot this week. They were very grateful. There's still more needed, and they're also going to update the list, but in the meantime, we still need these things that are on the list. Clean underwear, new underwear, have to be new underwear, or gently used, or new shirts, pants, and shorts. Platelets are still low this summer. Summertime is hard on the platelet bank, so please give platelets if you're able, and designate them to Team Terry. And there are lots of ways for you to engage your search for truth and meaning this week and going forward. Starting September 12th, we'll begin our new program year with our new theme, Inside, Outside, Upside Down, for the year. Religious exploration for elementary age children requires registration, and we really like people to register for all our programs for any age. We have a morning program on Sundays at 10 o'clock starting September 12th. For teens and adults, we would appreciate your registration for that as well, so that we know people are interested and will show up. And then we have faith development resources for all ages. These are just terrific resources that Christiana, our coordinator of family ministries, has cultivated and made available, and really for everybody, something for everyone. Today at 12:30 is Belief Exploration. Great conversations about our search for truth and meaning. Spiral Scouts at 12:30 today. That is something you have to have pre-registered for. Our choir meets on Tuesday night at 7 o'clock here in the sanctuary. Come and join us for singing. We're preparing a song for the 15th, for our grand soft opening. Yoga with Joanne is happening on Tuesdays from 4 to 5. Please drop in and join her. And covenant groups are starting up again in the fall. So the first covenant group meets on September 6th. So it's time to register, look at the dates, see what works for you. The registration will be up on our website by Wednesday, and encourage you to hurry and fill these. You'll see that one is in person on Monday night, and then we have 2 on Zoom on Wednesday night and Thursday morning. Bob Petrick and Barbara Sankey will be offering a new version of Working on Whiteness that will build on the last one, but it's also good if it's your first time. So it's standalone, but will be new for those who want to continue, new material for those who want to continue the conversation, and hopefully we'll get a lot of new people joining as well. Those dates are in the newsletter that just went out this week, and the registration will be up by Wednesday morning. UUCG Book Group is going to talk about Trevor Noah's Born a Crime, which my husband Russ and I have listened to. It's a great book. It's fun hearing Trevor Noah read it. And that group meets on Zoom. And several things that happen on a regular basis. Gust is on second Monday, so that'll be tomorrow night. And our choir, women's spirituality, exploring Tarot with Cherie, these are all in person. The Tarot is also offered on Zoom at the same time. And on Zoom, our Yarns from the Heart group meets on first and third Wednesdays, and Belief Exploration, which I've already mentioned. And I want to make sure you all are using our pastoral care team. They are here to serve you 24/7. Wonderful people who are available to listen. If you need to talk about something confidential of a spiritual or emotional nature, please contact them, and they will be glad to support you. And if you need additional support, they'll help you to find that. And now we say the words we say as we extinguish our flame, and then sing together, Guide My Feet, an African American spiritual. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
While
Our closing words come from the Reverend Sarah York. We receive fragments of holiness, glimpses of eternity, brief moments of insight. Let us gather them up for the precious gifts that they are, and renewed by their grace, move boldly into the unknown. Our service has ended, and now our service to one another and our wider community begins. Be well, beloveds. Take good care. And now you may stay online with us for a time of connection. We'll break into breakout groups, 6 households per group for 15 minutes. Introduce yourselves and enjoy some time connecting with others. And then we'll need to end promptly at 12:20 to open belief exploration and Spiral Scouts, if that's so. Thank you all. Love you. Have a good week.